Started with the second presentation session. The next, we have a presentation on the topic of diversification of the Korean electricity market, role of forward contract markets by Professor Jinsoo Kim from Hanyang University. Please give him a warm round of applause. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's kindly introduced. My name is Kim Jinsoo, and my sincere congratulations on the 60th anniversary of ELAC Times. Today, I'm going to talk about the diversification of the current electricity markets and how we can develop it further. And I have three contents on that, three approaches. And Mr. Kim already mentioned it a little bit, and he also mentioned the trend at the micro level. So I'm going to tell you about the transformation at the macro level, and I'm also going to touch upon the policy, especially with a focus on the forward contract market. And then, and the CHIP, I am also going to talk about it. And the first market has been already done. And I do have some insights about it, and I'm going to share it with you today. In the keynote speech, we've learned about two goals of the Korean electricity market, which is stable supply, and the second is economic supply. Economic supply is equal to economic efficiency, and that was already mentioned in the keynote speaker. And this is the current Korean electricity market structure. You see the stable supply. And we have set the goal of stable and economic supplies. And this is the solution that we have. And in Korea, 82% of the electricity comes from the fossil fuel. And this is KEEI's statistics. And in 2020, there should be another new statistics for the year 2023, and the 2024s will be also published soon. The importance of electricity is very important, as you are all aware. And according to the publication, by 2028, the standard demand will increase to over 700 terawatt. That's the forecast. And after studying it and after thinking of this issue, we've also have seen many other challenges, but I don't have to touch upon it because Mr. Kim already mentioned it, including the day-ahead market. So the Korean electricity market is trying to achieve the goal, the cost-based pool for electricity market. But we have gone through some grand transformation. The first one is after the Industrial Revolution, and the second came with a fossil fuel, and oil and petroleum. But of course, we have introduced nuclear power and also gas. But the largest portion of the energy sources is oil and petroleum. But now we are heading toward the third energy transition, and that's decarbonization. So when we structure energy system, now we have another goal, which is carbon neutrality, and that should go together with a stable and economic supply. But there might be some antagonistic, there might be some areas where these three factors can not be well balanced. So for the stable energy security, we need to reframe the energy supply structure. But in this mechanism, in this process, we have to keep in mind the sustainability. So far, we have been just thinking of reliability and affordability, which is about price and availability. But now there's a fourth factor, which is relation to security of energy. And looking at the sub keywords under each keyword, there are many components that we have to take into account. For example, in availability, the decision-making processes, the public approval and public participations are very important now in the decision-making processes. And acceptance of the public is not just about the demand of electricity, rather that's also about their needs. And that should be also one of the important components for affordability as well. And in reliability, as the previous speakers have all mentioned, storage and interconnection came as an important factor. Yes. Then can the Korean electricity market accommodate these all new factors? You see this table. This shows a comparison between different markets, depending on centrally planned or energy only. And what kind of technology should be introduced? The location and the size are all determined by the government. And that's how the Korean electricity market has been directed. But does it really fit the current trend, especially for the energy security? I don't think so, unfortunately. It's mentioned in previous presentations. The current Korean electricity market structure, like I said, is not able to accommodate them. I mean, the single market per se is not able to accommodate complexity by nature because of the lack of flexibility and pricing issue, as Professor Kim already, as other speakers mentioned. But of course, the government and experts and KPX and other stakeholders would suggest and propose proper and optimal pricing. But in this complicated environment, the cost reflection is not easy at all. Then stakeholders and market participants would see a profit distortion. And in the single market structure, as mentioned in the second presentation, it doesn't accommodate locational signals and locational pricing. Then it would lead to market inefficiencies because of the limited competition. And when they want to accommodate new factors, there might be some barriers and obstacles. And therefore, in terms of financial and economic impacts, the cost efficiency cannot be accomplished. And that's relevant to increased costs. When we are talking about increased costs, well, and that's actually because of the efficiency issues. And they say we have to increase the cost because of the new facilities and so on and so forth. But the public organizations have seen a minus profit. And they say we have to increase the cost, but that may be because of the efficiency. And that's because of the single market structure. And all the generators and the power plants are pretty much a public corporation. They are in public sector, and that's why they can really bear the financial deficit. But we have to understand it. And the real-time volatility should be reflected in the pricing. That was also mentioned in the previous presentation. So under this circumstance, for stable supply, we have to adopt a new system in the mid and long term. But under the current system, current single market system, we cannot accommodate any of them. So the four goals were already published by KPX, not by myself. And these four directions were already released by the KPX. So first off, increasing space granularity in electricity market. The second is increasing time granularity in electricity markets. And then they also said and announced that they would introduce innovative ancillary services, and they would integrate renewables and electricity markets. And these four goals were already set and released by KPX. And according to these directions, we need to think about the forward contract market. The VC, the vested contract, as the subject is actually dealt with, is dealing with the nuclear power plants. And other than that, contract market in action or under consideration are like this: the low carbon essential contract market. And for example, the Jeju long cycle BESS bidding for 15 years. And the second is hydrogen power generation bidding market. As you know, there are two types of hydrogen. One is general and the other is clean. For general one, from the year before last year, it has already been established. And about the clean hydrogen power generation bidding market, I am going to come back later. And then renewable energy fixed price bidding market, and this is about PV and wind power, and this is undergoing. And there is a cap, and the standard is S&P plus 1 RC. And fourth is LNG capacity bidding market, of which bidding was just completed. And this is about a 30-year long-term fixed price contracts. And then, last but not least, integrated capacity market for carbon-free power generation. And these are the directions. And with this market diversifications, what kind of effects we can expect? One is a risk mitigation, and the second is we can increase the predictability of the market. A risk mitigation is good and beneficial for business operators because business operators can set up a financial plans more stably, and they can continue to participate in the electricity market with a better predictability. But regarding the cost reduction, some say that it might not be necessarily beneficial. But price signaling should be exposed to consumers to some extent, because depending on the result of the price signal, the demand can be adjusted. And the cost is really variable in a certain period of time, then a price signal might be very needed. So based on the risk mitigation and predictability, the market can get more stable. So in overall electricity market, it can provide a stable. It can help market get more stable. And as for the support for policy goal achievement, well, for the policy goal achievement alone, the centralized system might be much better, and the single market might be better. But for carbon neutrality and integrated energy system, we needed something else. What kind of policy goal and how we can accomplish policy goal for non-single market, we have to establish a contract market. And the fourth is the creation of customized markets for each power source. And this is also called creating individual markets tailored to the characteristics of each power source. So the energy and the electricity market is in transition at this moment. And you see the star market, star symbols. But of course, the forward contract markets cannot resolve and address every single issue. But the forward contract market can help these problems be resolved. And the third topic is CHPS. Of course, this is this kind of hydrogen market. This CHPS market is for the first time in the world. And this is according to the Hydrogen Act. The scheme per se is similar to renewable portfolio system, but it doesn't mean that CHPS and RPS are exactly the same. But the goals and the overall scheme might be a bit consistent between CHPS and RPS. And KEEI issues clean hydrogen certification. This is the process up to now. Like I said, in 2023, the right to supply 650 gigawatt of electricity generated from general hydrogen for delivery in 2025 was auctioned in July. And auctions for electricity generated from clean hydrogen for delivery in 2027 started in the first half of 2024. So the official purchase volume is as follows. And for clean hydrogen, by 2027, 3,500 gigawatt. And we had a bidding about it. But the preferred bidder was selected only for 700 at this moment, unfortunately. And the world first auction of clean hydrogen power, like I said, and there should be some non-pricing factors. And this is a clean hydrogen, so the emission coefficient should be scored as well. Should be added to a score. And out of the overall points, the ratio is the biggest. For emission coefficient. And depending on that, we actually selected a South Power Generation as the preferred bidder. Now, let me share with you my insight, which is quite personal, though. Well, some say that well, 6,500 gigawatt was announced as a bidding volume, but at this moment, the preferred bidder volume is just the 750 gigawatt, and they say it's a failure. but I was a member of the working group for the market, the forward market, contract market system. Yes, there should be something that we have to improve. But from my view, I don't think this is a failure. We are in a transition of the electricity market. Who should take the risk? In the first presentation session, Mr. Kim Hong-gun talked about the trends of electricity market, and then in the second presentation, we've learned about locational pricing and so on and so forth. With that future trends, how business operators can share the profits, and that kind of questions should be raised, of course. So far, the government has been taking the risks, but with this forward contract market, the contract market per se requires business operators to take the risks. But when the business operator takes the risks, then the benefits out of the risks should be reflected in the bidding prices. So the bidding price might be increasing a little bit. We cannot force them not to take. We cannot really force those bidders to lower the prices while they are taking the risks. So some part of them should be subsidized by the government, and for this clean hydrogen power market, most of the risks were taken by the business operators. And that such a market was the first of its kind in the world. So the bidders have to reflect the risks in the bidding price, and the government actually has set a cap, but there is no volumes available to meet the cap demands, requirement. And that's why the government was not able to secure the total demand. And I put cap and price discovery. I just mentioned a CHPS market just as an example, but later on we are going to have the bidding market for wind energy. Then these two questions should be addressed. And when we increase the forward contract market, then when we design the market, we have to take these two factors into account always. Thank you so much, Professor Kim. Now we are going to have a Q&A session. Any questions for Professor Kim? We are going to hand over the microphone. If you have any questions, anybody?